Ishaya Bello is so bent on achieving all his dreams that he'll go to any length. And if I mean any length, doing anything just to be able to achieve his dream, art. Being so much in love with art, Ishaya Bello defies all odds just so that he can be able to achieve his one dream, to be able to learn under his mentor, Asian. So Far From Home, a latest Netflix teen series, is a story of a young man, Ishaya Bello, who, being so obsessed about art and drawing, decides to raise funds to be able to get into apprenticeship under his mentor, Asian, in London. So coming from a very poor background, his father was so much into art that something happened, and then art became forbidden in his house. Nobody was supposed to draw or to get involved in art. So his father, having loved art so much, was one great artist that would go to every length to be able to draw anything and satisfy all his clients. One day, even through rain, his father decided that he had a painting he needed to submit to a client. Going on his motorbike with his last son, decides to submit the art even in the rain. They gets crushed by a truck, and he ends up losing his son and losing his legs. This causes so much pain in the hearts of everybody in Ishaya's family, especially his mom, who decides to forbid art in the house. His father swore never to draw again because he blamed his son's death and he being in the wheelchair to art. But then Ishaya Bello never hated art. He loved art so much that despite his family's hatred for art, he decides to follow his dream. Therefore, he had to raise money to be able to travel to London to learn under his mentor and become a very great artist. But then, how to get the money becomes the problem. And that is how come Ishaya goes to all lengths just to be able to raise money to be able to travel to London. He worked 3 times a day, in the morning as a cleaner with his mom, during the day as an artist, drawing and giving it to his clients at a fee, and during the night as a waiter in a very big club. Being desperate to be able to raise money for his London trip, Ishaya hears from his boss he has answers to questions they are going to give to students who are applying for the scholarship at Wilma Academy. This scholarship comes with all your fees being paid and a grant fee of 6 million naira. Ishaya, thinking that this money was going to be the end of his problems, decides to apply for the scholarship. Therefore, though he wasn't so smart, he takes these answers because his boss's son refuses to chew these answers. Ishaya takes the answers, learns them, and goes to write this exam. Now, before you're able to apply for the scholarship and write the exam, you need to come up with an amount of 150,000 naira. Ishaya has very little time to be able to raise 150,000 naira, so he decides to steal from his ninth boss. He steals from Oga Rambo and Mr. Government, with the intention that if he gets his money of 6 million, he was going to pay back and then dash to London. Little did he know that this was going to be the beginning of all his problems. Ishaya manages to write the exam, he passes, but then he never gets the 6 million naira because apparently a lot of deductions were supposed to be made from the money, and he ends up with just 5,000 naira. He's stuck in Nigeria, no money to go back to go to London, no money to pay his debt. His family life is at stake because he's dealing with very dangerous people. And on top of that, he doesn't want to be in school. His dreams shattered. Ishaya is now in a big mess. If you've watched to this point, write in the comment section, I must watch this series. I must watch this series. So you need to watch this series to be able to find out how Ishaya is able to go through this. Now, after solving one problem, he's faced with another and another and another. It looks like he takes one step forward and takes 20 steps back. It has been back-to-back problems with Ishaya. His story really inspired me. And the one question I kept asking myself is, what length would I go to be able to achieve my dreams? Now, obviously, looking at the way it ended, I know there's going to be a sequel, like there's going to be a continuation. But then, I'm just hoping that Ishaya is able to fulfill his dreams. I have a feeling that the London competition, he is going to make it and he's going to win. Though Atlas is trying to sabotage him and he's now out of Wilma, I just strongly believe that he's going to get back in and going to finish this competition. But you know the interesting thing of it all? Essien, who once told him that he had lost the opportunity, is now claiming the fact that he's the one that discovered him. Really, I'm just looking forward to episode 7, where Ishaya is going to own up and tell the world that he has learned on his own, especially at Wilma, and would forget this whole Asian apprenticeship. Asian is great, but would not be a very good influence on Ishaya. Despite it being a good film, there were a number of things that were not so clear to me. Now, Carmen is still in the same class with Ishaya and all the others, and I'm wondering how, because they keep referring to the fact that she was at the ball, she was present the previous years. So how come she's still in the same class with these people? Probably she had an accident and they needed to make her stay back in the same class with these people, but that wasn't made so clear, and it was a bit confusing how all these new people, we are told, find themselves in the same class, but they all talk as though they've been in the school for the previous year. Again, there were a lot of subplots I was expecting to have been very well developed, and a lot of characters that were really supposed to be developed. It centered around Ishaya, Carmen, Atlas, which was great, but Carmen's friend, this was a person that was constantly tagged a Christian and a holy girl, only for her to be doing other stuff outside. At no point in time did we see her having a conversation aside she being with Atlas and Carmen. I felt we should have seen more of her family, more of her interaction and her attitude at home, so that we will be able to get clearly her double-sidedness. And then there was Rahila, Ishaya's sister. I just got confused. If Rahila's dream was to go to Wilma Academy and she had finished with her junior WAHEC, had her exam done with, and she was waiting to go to school, what was she doing at home? And Ishaya rather gets enrolled at Wilma. What was she doing? She was trying to apply to Wilma. She didn't get the opportunity. Why was she always at home? What was she doing with her life? Little was told about Rahila, aside the fact that Ishaya always got her into trouble, and that wasn't so cool. Aside that, this was a great movie. Tell me what you noticed if you've watched, and let's get interactive in the comment section. The name still remains Mami Abnabukia. Kindly hit the subscription button and let's grow this channel. Love you, school.